Okay, boys and girls, today we are going to be looking at our social studies books at page 16 and page 17, and we are going to be learning about how to use a physical map and how to use an elevation map. So let's start with how to use a physical map. Look at this map of North America. This is a physical map. Physical maps show landforms or shapes on Earth's surface. Let's go ahead and highlight that. This is a physical map, and physical maps help us see landforms. And we know landforms are shapes on Earth's surface. Rivers, lakes, deserts, and mountains are all landforms. I like to highlight those words so that helps me remember examples of landforms. How can you tell the landforms apart? Map makers use different colors or shading for each landform. For example, water is usually blue, and areas around mountains are shaded. And so if we look at this physical map here, this is the physical map of North America, we can see that the water is blue. And then we can look over here, especially in the west, we can see that there are mountains because they're different shades. There's some different shading going on there that shows us where the mountains are. So our question is, what is the purpose of a physical map? Now if I go back up here, remember up here it says physical maps show landforms or shapes on Earth's surface. So I'm going to write exactly what it says in my book. Physical maps show landforms or shapes on Earth's surface. Make sure I put a period at the end of my sentence. Okay. Now the next type of map we're going to learn about is an elevation map. And it says, have you ever wondered why the water in a river moves? The answer is because water runs downhill. Every river begins at a higher elevation than where it ends. Elevation is how high the land is above the sea. Now, we remember from yesterday that our vocabulary words are in yellow, so whenever we see a vocabulary word, we want to underline the definition. Elevation means how high the land is above the sea. And I can highlight elevation is. Elevation maps help us learn about the height of land. I think that's important to highlight too because that tells us the purpose of an elevation map. Why do we have those? What do they help us learn? Elevation maps help us learn about the height of land. These maps use different colors to show land heights. The map key, also called a map legend, shows the colors that stand for different elevations. So if we take a look at our map legend here, we can see that there are different colors. And the green ones down here mean that it is right below sea level. So 0 is sea level, and then green down here is below sea level. And then as we go higher, that means that the land, the elevation is getting higher. And then red, way up at the top here, is the highest elevation. So that would be high up in the mountains at 10,000 feet. And if we look here, where do you see the highest elevation? I see it all along here. The west here has some really tall mountains. Okay, looking at our questions. What is the purpose of an elevation map? Well, if I go back up here to our reading, I remember that I highlighted elevation maps help us learn about the height of land. So that's what I'm going to write. Elevation maps help us learn about the height of land. And now the next question says, what is the range of elevation along the Gulf of Mexico? So I want to look at the Gulf of Mexico, and I want to find the range. And if we look at our map key, the range is the bottom number where the color starts, and then the top number where the color ends. So that would be the range. So if we find the Gulf of Mexico, which is here, I see all around it, it's this green color. It's not the lightest green color, but it's not the darkest green color. It's that kind of in-between color here. And so I see that the range is from 0 feet to 500 feet. So I can write it like this, 0 to 500 feet. And there we go.